Hello, my name is Joe Cortez, former international boxing referee from Las Vegas, Nevada, the boxing capital of the world. Well, this past weekend, once again here in Las Vegas, we had Juan Manuel Marquez fighting against the undefeated Timothy Bradley. It was a great fight. It went all 12 rounds. However, at the end, it was Timothy Bradley who walked away with the gold chips. Anyway, what happened was that Marquez really came out. He was a very intelligent fighter, good combination boxer, but he didn't have that little bit of oomph to get over the top to beat Timothy Bradley. Bradley had good speed, good defense, good solid jab, landing consistently with the jab, and Marquez did a good combination and whatnot. In the last rounds, Marquez started to try to open up. I think the mistake that the Marquez corner made, Nacho Beristain, his trainer, kept telling him, we're winning. And you know what? When the trainer tells me I'm winning, I'm going to slack off a little bit because I feel I got the edge, so why should I go more? Maybe I'll save the last push for the last rounds. Well, Marquez was very disappointed. He said he got robbed once again here in Las Vegas. And you know what? To be honest with you, he's a great fighter. Definitely a Hall of Famer. Did great against Pacquiao, knocking out Pacquiao last December. But you know what, guys? Marquez just needed a little bit more to get over. I must say, Patricia Jarman had a 116, 112. Robert Hoyle had it 115, 113. Glenn Feldman from Connecticut had it 115, 113, but he gave it to Marquez. I personally saw it the same way as Robert Hoyle, 115, 113, 7-5 in rounds, favoring Bradley. I mean, you know, there were some rounds in there that could have gone, you can't call it a 10-10 round. It could have gone maybe the other way. I tried to give Marquez one more round, but I just couldn't find a round to give him, to be honest with you, because you have to really kind of tighten up a little bit on your scoring and say, who can I give this round to? I seem to always want to give that edge to Bradley. I had to give it to him because honestly I thought he won the 7-5 in rounds. But you know, he really wanted to throw it up in there and say, you know what, I could have gone maybe one more round to Marquez, one way or the other. You know, it could have been a draw. Nobody would have complained about it. You know, Marquez could have won by 1 point. You know, but if you're really a true fight fan, if you really know your scoring, you know, the effective aggressiveness, the defense, the cleanup blows, you know, I mean, the harder punches work, I would say, came from Timothy Bradley. Even though Marquez really, you know, threw some punches, but neither fighter was hurt at any moment during the fight. For the exception in the last round, and I would say he was hurt, Marquez, when he got hit with a left hook from Timothy Bradley, he was more off balance, and he kind of went backwards and take nothing away from him. I think Marquez still has a little fire left in his belly to go forward with another 1 or 2 more fights. He's 40 years young, but you know, when you reach a certain peak in your life, there's no place else to go but back down once you reach that peak. And Marquez definitely reached a peak last year when he knocked out Manny Pacquiao. Marquez has nothing to be ashamed of. He fought a hell of a fight. I mean, he really impressed the crowd with his skills. Once again, you know, he has it all, but that 10-year difference in age might have made the difference for Timothy Bradley to be the winner. And hopefully, you know, Marquez will stay in the game a little bit longer, but his trainer, reading today's news, his trainer, Nacho Beristain, is recommending that he retire. Now, if you say that you lost a fight and you say that that you was robbed of the fight, then why will you be thinking about retiring? You know, why will this trainer say you should retire? If you're so sure that you won the fight, don't talk about retirement. But once you start talking about retirement, even Marquez himself said before the fight that he may retire soon. Once you start thinking that way, you know, psychologically, really, you're not really giving it 100%. You're thinking about easing out. When you start thinking about easing out, you're going to easy out during the fight as well. So, I mean, I would never say I want to retire unless I really am going to retire. Like when I retired from boxing. When I said I'm going to retire, I retired. I mean, I said it and I did it. But I wasn't thinking about it really up until the last couple of months prior to my last fight. I said, you know what? I'm going to retire. 35 years, I'm out. Marquez has put over 20 years in boxing, and maybe it's time for him to go out. I mean, I would have went out when he knocked out Pacquiao last year. But you know what? Money talks, buddy. And you know what? How about a rematch with Marquez and Pacquiao? That'd be a great fight. It'll be another big money fight for Marquez. And if he wants to say farewell to boxing, I would take that fight and then say farewell with another $12 million in my pocket. So it's up to him. He's got the knowledge. He's very intelligent. He'll be a great sports commentator. He's doing some stuff with ESPN Deportes now as a commentator with our team that I'm involved with, ESPN Deportes. And I think he would be great for boxing as a commentator. He has all his marbles. He knows his boxing inside out. He's a very skillful individual, and definitely, like I said before, definitely a Hall of Famer. Well, on the other card that night, two Orlandos, Orlando Salido, Orlando Cruz. Orlando Salido from Mexico, former featherweight champion, and very intelligent. He had a questionable chin because he got knocked down like 4 or 5 times, 6 times in the last 2 fights. But when he went up against Orlando Cruz from Puerto Rico was hoping to conquer the featherweight title because the only fighter right now who's world champion out of Puerto Rico is Rocky Martinez. And Rocky Martinez, his title is really on the line against Mickey Garcia, because Mickey Garcia is another undefeated, good punching, good skills featherweight. So Orlando Cruz is hoping to conquer the featherweight title for the WBO, and it didn't happen. You know, he was definitely outclassed, like I predicted. I said Orlando Salido had a little bit too much skills. Orlando Salido, heavier puncher. Orlando Cruz really tried his best, but I couldn't even find a way I gave him a round in that fight. He got stopped in the 6th round. Kenny Bayless rightfully stopped the contest without counting. He got hit with a good, devastating hook inside, and it was lights out for Orlando Cruz. Referee Kenny Bayless once again did a great job, and Orlando Cruz, I think, should be thinking about maybe packing it in because he was inactive for about 4 years. It was Juan Manuel Lopez from Puerto Rico, Miguel Cotto, and Orlando Cruz were all representing Puerto Rico in the Olympics, but Orlando Cruz was the only one who didn't capture a world title. He was, like I said before, he stepped out for about 4 years, made a couple of fights. Coming up to this fight, tried his best, but Orlando Cruz, I think, seen his better days ahead of him, and I think that he should have just maybe thinking about packing it in. If he wants to have a couple of fights and make a couple of dollars, he can, but if I was him, I'll find myself another career, something else to do. He could probably train some fighters. He seems like a young, intelligent young man. We don't want to see fighters take unnecessary punishment. And Orlando Cruz, if he continues to box, he may get hurt. So it's best that he steps down. Coming up November, here we go again. Manny Pacquiao against Brandon Rios. That'll be an interesting fight. And this coming weekend, we have Mike Alvarado versus Provodnikov. A great fight. And I predict that Provodnikov, who's a good puncher, is going to be up against a very skillful boxer in Alvarado. But if Alvarado thinks he's going to come forward to try to knock off Provodnikov's a good puncher, it'll be a good fight. My prediction is Provodnikov, either by decision, could be a split, or maybe even a KO. But I may be wrong. I was wrong with the Pacquiao, I was wrong with the, despite this past weekend. I thought that Bradley was gonna get knocked out by Marquez in the 7th round, so I was wrong. And you know what? I think I know my boxing pretty good. I'm gonna stay away from making predictions. I'll let you guys make the predictions. Hey guys, with that said, God bless. Talk to you next week.